गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। आज हम बात करेंगे ट्रबल ऑन पाकिस्तान वेस्टर्न बॉर्डर्स। वैसे एक जमाने में इट वाज ट्रबल ऑन पाकिस्तान ईस्टर्न बॉर्डर्स, आजकल थोड़ा वेस्ट को हवा झुक गया है। और इसके बारे में बात करने के लिए हमारे साथ हैं जनरल केजे सिंह। सर, गुड इवनिंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। बहुत दिन के बाद हम मिल रहे हैं ऑन गना शॉट and we are honored that you're here.
थैंक यू जल शंकर। आपको बहुत बहुत कंग्रेचुलेशंस। आपकी चैनल की व्यूअरशिप बहुत बढ़ गई है और लोग अभी इसको हमारे सामने कोट भी करते हैं, बताते हैं
Oh,
हमें कि हमने जल शंकर को सुना था, उन्होंने ये बोला। तो आपको
right.
कंग्रेचुलेशंस। एंड जो व्यूअर्स सुन रहे हैं उन सबको गुड इवनिंग, जय हिंद। और आप सबको थैंक यू, धन्यवाद, शुक्रिया, आप हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं। और जैसा कि हर एक ऐसे प्रोग्राम से पहले हम आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करते हैं कि आप अपना कमिटमेंट इस चैनल के साथ और स्ट्रॉन्ग करिए, इसको सब्सक्राइब करिए, इसके मेंबर बनिए। और अगर आप करेंगे तभी इस तरह के डिस्कशन आगे ले जाए जा सकेंगे। सो थैंक यू जनशंकर,
Thanks a
थैंक
lot, sir. Thanks a lot, sir. आपने बता दिया कि people have started quoting what we say in this channel. It also places हमारे ऊपर एक जिम्मेवारी आता है कि जो भी हम इस चैनल के ऊपर बात करें वो सही होना चाहिए और फैक्ट बेस होना चाहिए। और अननेसेसरी लोगों का आशाओं को बढ़ाना नहीं चाहिए। और उसी वक्त उसी प्रकार निराशा भी नहीं फैलना चाहिए हमारे लोगों के अंदर। संतुलित व्यवहार का नीति अपनाना इम्पोर्टेंट है, राइट? कैर, दैट इज द, I mean, I'm glad that people like you come and enrich this channel. So with this, sir, जैसे हमने देखा पिछले कुछ दिनों में पाकिस्तान के काफी अटैक्स हो गए पाकिस्तान के अंदर। जैसे ये इलेक्शंस खत्म हुआ और ये शुरू हो गया, और ये जो पाकिस्तान गवर्नमेंट का हनीमून पीरियड को खराब कर रहा है ये पूरे अटैक्स वगैरह। अभी चाइनीज के ऊपर भी अटैक हो गया। तो इस सब के चीजों के बारे में आप अपना दृष्टिकोण बताइए। आफ्टर ऑल यू आर द वेस्टर्न आर्मी कमांडर एंड आपसे ज्यादा कौन जानता है अबाउट दिस थिंग। एंड यू हैव डन ट्रेमेंडस रिसर्च ऑन द चाइना पाकिस्तान इकोनॉमिक कॉरिडोर। और जहां जब से मैं जानता हूं आपको अफगानिस्तान के ऊपर भी काफी इंटरेस्ट है। सो यू आर द बेस्ट पर्सन टू एनलाइटन ऑल ऑफ अस ऑन दिस troubled western border of Pakistan. All yours, sir.
थैंक यू जनशंकर। आई विल टेक द लिबर्टी एंड आई विल एक्सपेंड द टॉपिक अ बिट। मैं थोड़ा टॉपिक
Oh
को
yes.
बड़ा करने की कोशिश करूंगा, क्योंकि ट्रबल ऑन वेस्टर्न बॉर्डर्स की बजाय अब जो इशू सामने है वो ये है, इम्प्लोडिंग पाकिस्तान, वेस्टर्न बॉर्डर्स ऑन बॉयल। एक पाकिस्तान जो
Okay.
अपने आप अंदर ही इम्प्लोड हो रहा है और उसके वेस्टर्न बॉर्डर पे आग लगी हुई है पूरी तरीके से। तो देखो दोस्तों, ऐसा हुआ कि पिछले 10 दिन में 16 से लेकर 26 मार्च के बीच देर वर 5 डिफरेंट अटैक्स, 3 इन खैबर पख्तूनख्वा province and 2 in Balochistan, which resulted in death of at least 18 to 20 people. And attacks in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa were not claimed by any group, but those in Balochistan were claimed by BLA up front. All 5 attacks were Fidayeen attacks, suicide bombings, and 12 military personnel, 12 to 14, and some claim even more, of Pakistan were killed. 5 Chinese nationals have been killed, and Pakistani citizens have also been killed. So these 10 days is a mayhem cycle in Pakistan. And where did it begin? It started on 16th of March. On 16th of March, at Mir Ali border checkpoint in North Waziristan, there was an attack by 6 Fedayeen. A large number came with a large truck लोडेड विद एक्सप्लोजिव्स। ट्रक बड़ा एक्सप्लोजिव से भरा हुआ, और उसने उस पोस्ट के ऊपर सुइसाइड अटैक कर दिया। वन लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल, वन कैप्टन। अब लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल तो सीओ ही होता है उस यूनिट का, जो फ्रंटियर कोर की यूनिट होती है उसका सीओ होगा। लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल, कैप्टन एंड 5 अदर रैंक्स, टोटल 7 पेरिश इन दैट अटैक। ऑल फिदाइंस वर आल्सो, उनका तो एम ये था, दे हैड कम फॉर दिस ओनली। नाउ द फ्यूनरल ऑफ दैट लेफ्टिनेंट कर्नल was attended by Zardari, the new president, and also the army chief. Munir also attended that funeral. And there Zardari vowed that हम बदला जरूर लेंगे, हम रिवेंज लेंगे। एंड जैसा कि जन शंकर बता रहे थे कि फरवरी के इलेक्शन के बाद जब से ये गवर्नमेंट किसी तरीके से जोड़ तोड़ के बना दी गई है, उसके ऊपर बहुत प्रेशर है। प्रेशर ये है कि ये गवर्नमेंट क्या सिर्फ इमरान खान को ही जेल में रख सकती है या दूसरों के साथ भी कुछ करेगी? क्वेश्चंस ये पूछते लोग। तो इसलिए, और ये जो प्रोविंस है खैबर पख्तूनख्वा का, इसमें दिस इज द ओनली प्रोविंस वेयर पीटीआई इज इन पावर। कंडापुर इज द चीफ मिनिस्टर, ही इज इन पावर। बलूचिस्तान में तो पीपीपी की गवर्नमेंट बना ली उन्होंने किस तरीके से करके, और पंजाब सिंध में भी उन्होंने, पंजाब में उन्होंने नवाज की मुस्लिम लीग ने बना ली और सिंध में पीपीपी ने बना ली। इस तरीके का उन्होंने बांट कर लिया अपना। लेकिन इस अटैक के बाद पाकिस्तान हिल गया, एंड पाकिस्तान फेल्ट दिस अटैक वाज डन बाय तहरीक तालिबान पाकिस्तान, एंड दे ब्लेम्ड हफीज गुल बहादुर फैक्शन ऑफ दैट। उसका एक ग्रुप है तहरीक तालिबान पाकिस्तान, इज नॉट अ वेरी मोनोलिथिक, इसमें भी छोटे छोटे गैंग टाइप के हैं। कुछ लोग तो कहते हैं 40 गैंग्स हैं, बट आई हैव नॉट दिस थिंग। सम पीपल से कि इट वाज जैश ए फुरसान ए मोहम्मद विच क्लेम्ड रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, विच सेड कि हमने किया। बट पाकिस्तान की गवर्नमेंट को ये लगा कि इसको हाफिज गुल बहादुर ने कराया है। सो व्हाट दे डिड इज, on 18th of March, 2 days after that, they bombed Pak'S and Khost, 2 provinces of Afghanistan, Barmal district and Sepira, 2 districts. They bombed these 2 districts. खोस्ट आपको काबुल के ऊपर होगा और पक्तिका थोड़ा नीचे होगा, तो उसको उन्होंने
green
बॉम्ब किया।
dot is Pak'S.
Yeah. So in this, there were 5 women and 3 children who were killed, and they were probably the family members of these groups which were being targeted. And somewhere Pakistan ISPR claimed that they did manage to take out Sahra alias Janan, some leader, they said, but there is no confirmation of this thing. Even the US government, who commented on this, lamented civilian casualties. पहले वो मारते रहे, फिर इस बार उन्होंने बोला कि civilian casualties are avoidable. So now this happened. So some reaction has to take place. Taliban gave the warning, Taliban government gave the warning, and also carried out some mortar attacks, which were face saving kind of things, because after all they have limitations, they can't do airstrikes and all. But these airstrikes were first airstrikes after April 2022. हुए थे अप्रैल 2022 से पहले एयर स्ट्राइक्स, एंड नाउ दिस डिडंट स्टॉप देयर, you know, the things carried on. On 23rd March, there was another Fidain attack. This time, 2 people died and 22 were injured. There was a military convoy going to Dera Ismail Khan, to an area called as Tank. And that was sort of ambushed kind vehicle barged into it, and these people, 2 died and 22 were injured. So, you know, trouble comes in not in single, it comes in, you know, multiple sort of geometric progression. So till here it could have been okay, because it was between Taliban and, you know, Pakistan and Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. that kind of exchange. But to make matters very bad for them, on 24th March, there was another Fidayeen attack, which was now in Balochistan, which was carried out on Gwadar Port Authority area, which is the showpiece of CPEC. उसके ऊपर अटैक हुआ ग्वादर के ऊपर, और उसमें पाकिस्तान गवर्नमेंट सेज कि ओनली 1 or 2 people, कभी 1 कहते कभी 2 कहते हैं, but the BLA which claimed responsibility, they had attacked with 8 Fidayeen, which were all eliminated. लेकिन उन्होंने ऑडियो टेप्स वगैरह जारी किया है, एंड उन्होंने क्लेम किया है कि डैमेजेस और ज्यादा हो भी सकते हैं, कोई कंफर्म नहीं कर सकता, ऐसे इंसिडेंट्स में कंफर्म होना मुश्किल होता है। तो ये 24 मार्च को ग्वादर में हुआ। लेकिन सॉरी, मैं आपको और आगे लेके जाऊंगा कि यहां पर तो बात खत्म ही नहीं हो रही, क्योंकि 24 मार्च के बाद 25 को एक और अटैक होता है बेसम में, जो कि दासू डैम के पास है, अपर कोहिस्तान में, और वहां पर 5 चाइनीज इंजीनियर्स एंड 1 ड्राइवर, their vehicle got blown, and those Fidayeen were killed. And this attack reminded us of something which had happened in July 2021, where 9 Chinese engineers were killed. And believe you me, Chinese had suspended work despite this iron brother and all this, and Chinese took damages worth $30 million. So it's not as if it's so easy to resolve these things. Now all work is stopped. So does it stop here? No, it doesn't stop here. On 26th March, there is another attack. This time, it is an attack, Fidayeen attack, which takes place on PNS Siddiqui, which is the Pakistan's second biggest naval base. आप सबने सुना होगा, पाकिस्तान का जो नेवल बेस सबसे बड़ा है वो मेहरान है, कराची के पास, उसमें भी अटैक हुआ था। ऑन दैट आल्सो इट वाज अटैक। सो नाउ दिस सेकंड लार्जेस्ट एयरबेस जो कि तुर्बत में है, उधर अटैक हुआ। अगर आप मैप पर ध्यान से देखोगे तो ग्वादर से अबाउट 100 किलोमीटर अप नॉर्थ की तरफ है तुर्बत। इट इज द सेकंड बिगेस्ट सिटी ऑफ बलूचिस्तान आफ्टर क्वेटा, एंड फ्रॉम देयर about 90 kilometers south and towards the west is the famous port of Pasni naval base. And if you look to the south, south and east is Pasni, and south and west towards the Iran side is Jivani. Now see, importance of this air station. It is supporting 2 naval bases of Pakistan, which is Jivani and Pasni, and also Gwadar. So this is a very significant thing. And in this, Pakistan claims that not much damage. They lost only 1 person of Frontier Corps, but casualties could have been more. And once again, in this also, BLA claimed, Balochistan Liberation Army, they said their Majid Brigade has done it. So Balochistan, all these attacks have been claimed by BLA. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, not being claimed because there is a fear. Because China is involved in 2 of them, and they too are definitely not being claimed. जहाँ China involved है वहाँ नहीं claim करता कोई. Because China has a tie-up with Taliban. They have recognized the Taliban government, so nobody wants to take a bad name. So who's done it? This is a question that needs to be answered. So there are various theories floating around. Somebody says ISIS-K has done it. Some people say there is one new group which has done it. There is also a school of thought which says ETIM could have done it. ETIM is that East Turkestan Independence Movement. Pakistan government always says it has been engineered by
outside forces.
outside, which they say India. So that is how it is. Now, friends, we should also take into account these dams. They are coming up. It's a good time to look at the dams which are coming up. Indus River is a mighty river. So there is a Tarbela extension dam, which is also being done by Chinese. Guangzhou company is doing it, which has suspended all operations. उसके बाद जो है वो अगला डैम है धासू डैम, जिनके इंजीनियर्स को अटैक किया गया, सेकेंड टाइम अब अटैक हो गया. It is going to generate 4,320 megawatts. Huge big dam, 140 feet height it has got. It's in stages, upper Kohistan. So, uh, and on this, in this area, Guangzhou company has about close to 1,000 engineers of China working there, supported by Frontier Works Organization, which is like our BRO, border roads, what India has. They have something called as Frontier Works Organization. So those people support them in Pakistan. And then there is another dam, Dimer Basa. Dimer Basha or DBD is going to generate 4,800 megawatts. And yet another dam called as Mohmand Dam is also being built. Mohmand is by and large, they say some activity is still going on. Rest all is Chinese have stopped it for the time being, and FWO people are only doing something. That is how they say. These dams are very important for Pakistan, which has got problems of perpetual problem of power shortage. अगर आप 3-4 साल पहले कोक स्टूडियो के गानों में देखोगे तो एक बड़ा उनका फेमस गाना था, क्यों नहीं आती पाकिस्तान में बिजली, कब आएगी पाकिस्तान में बिजली. तो बहुत फेमस हिट गाना था उनका. तो ये ना ये सारे अटैक्स, एक क्वेश्चन कैन कम टू योर माइंड, क्या कोऑर्डिनेटेड थे? Was there a coordination between Baluchistan Liberation Army and people who did on top? Can they be coordinated? Or is it just that things were, working up to that and they happened? Is there an external power which is coordinating these? These are questions. I have no answers for that. But my perception is that they happened, they happened. It is just that people realize that election has taken place, attention is here, so we can gain a lot of publicity. It's good time to do it, and it's good time. They have achieved their aim. The attention has come to them. They nearly started a war between Afghanistan and Pakistan. They've also forced China to withdraw from all the construction projects. So they have achieved their aim to a large extent. Not that it'll finish. CPAC will not finish. They'll restart after a few months, after more guarantees. See, you all would know, Pakistan raised 2 light divisions, which are specially equipped by special weapons just to protect Chinese workforce on CPAC, funded out of that. Yet, it's very difficult to protect. It's not easy. So, some people say, and it was reported that 29 January there was another action by BLA. Much before this, about 2 months before that, about a month and a little week before that, it was in a place called as March, where they tried to break into a prison and release their prisoners. That was also averted. Last year also, a convoy of 23 Chinese engineers there was an attempt, but it was thwarted. It was not allowed to happen. And you have heard of previous years. I gave you one example of Dasu in 2021, but before that, Karachi Stock Exchange was attacked. Karachi University Confucius Center was attacked, where there was three linguists were killed along with their driver. So all this has been happening in Pakistan. It's a very worrying phenomena. And Shankar's got a very nice graphic where he's got the casualties. If you can see it on the screen, see the casualties which are taking place. And this is from one source. The source that I tapped, I had some other figures. Then I corrected them to some other figures. So here it is saying 693. My report, which I tapped, says 789 attacks, 1524 casualties. Imagine. And mostly security forces. Happening in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Balochistan. Being blamed on TTP largely, and also to some extent ISIS K. There is one Tehreek Jihad Pakistan, and now ETIM is also coming up. So it's nothing strange. Hillary Clinton had said that snakes in your backyard will not just bite the neighbors. They are biting them now. It's happening. It's been happening for last 3-4 years, and now it is happening at a higher or magnitude and faster frequency. So, friends, let us also now transit to another connected issue in this discussion, because discussion on terrorism, we have seen the magnitude and problems and groups. We have taken a view. We'll come to some other issues connected with that. But let's look at Durand Line. Durand Line is about 2,611 kilometers. This was agreed between Mortimer Durand, who was secretary to British government, a diplomat also, and Amir of Afghanistan, Abdur Rahman Khan, done in 1893 after the Second Anglo-Afghan War. But large number of Afghan governments have not recognized it. Hamid Karzai said he will never recognize it. Aymal Faizi, government spokesman for Afghan president, said the Durand Line is an issue of historical importance for Afghanistan. The Afghan people, not the government, can take a final decision on it. And that's right also, because you can't draw a line going through all the tribal hinterland. You can't divide tribes Masood and all these tribes, Karzais and all these Yusufzais and all such kind of tribes across this thing just by drawing a line. Is that possible? Is that correct? So this is a very serious issue, and Afghans are not going to accept it easily. And when Pakistan pushes them too much, like this time, they put out that Bangladesh snap, where Pakistan army surrendered to Indian forces, and the spokesman of Pakistan said that you try it with us, you will meet the same fate. So many people have met this kind of fate. It's a graveyard of empires. So don't try it for us. Now, this border is incidentally being fenced. Pakistan is fencing it. Very difficult to fence. But Pakistan claims that about 30 kilometers left, rest all has been done, ad hoc, whatever it is. But this has got about 340 crossing points. You have to allow tribes, and they have common code. Like when Taliban first came to government rule in Afghanistan, if there was a rape in Peshawar in Pakistan, they would take the case to Jalalabad across the border, because same code applies, tribal code. And they felt that the justice system in Pakistan is all mixed up. They are corrupt. उधर लेके चलो, वहां पे जस्टिस होता है. तो such challenges are there. Pakistan is also making ditches and berms to reinforce this line, but it's not able to stop the movement, and it will not be able to. If with so much of this thing we are not able to make LOC foolproof, we stop to very large extent, but odd infiltrations take place. In Pakistan's case, the magnitude is of a great higher order. Challenges are bigger, terrain being such, and glaciated areas. So it's very difficult. So on this border, there has been a lot of tension, lot of exchanges have taken place. There have been aerial strikes, artillery strikes, and there have been warnings. But it doesn't stop here. Let's go to Iran border of Pakistan, which is 909 kilometers. This is between Balochistan province and Sistan province. We all know that Iran is a Shia dominated country, but Sistan is a Sunni dominated province. So people in Sistan are fighting for independence. And who supports them? People from Balochistan. The groups from here, they go there. And would you believe it? Iran, we talk of our borders. Iran is planning to have a 3 feet thick, 10 feet high concrete wall fortified with steel rods on this border for 700 kilometers out of 900. Balances rivers and all that area. And Pakistan, on the other side, is also doing fencing. There are ditches also, embankments also. And there are exchange of mortar firearms, which is not reported, we don't know, but it happens. So on that border also, problems started developing. On 16 January, Iran carried out a missile strike in a place called as Panjgur. And this is inside Pakistan, in Balochistan province. And they claim that they wanted to target Jaish al-Adl, their leader. Earlier, this group was called Jundala, soldiers of God. And so Pakistan claimed that that leader escaped because he appeared somewhere else on social media. But they said 2 children were killed. One house was destroyed. But why did Iran do this? You can ask that question. Earlier in the month of December, this happened in January, on 16 January. In month of December, in Iran, in Sistan province, 11 police officers died in a suicide attack. And Iran established this was done by this group. So it wanted to get even with them. Now, see, the problem is Iran synchronized this in a very, very dangerous manner. In that cycle of 48 hours, Iran launched an attack against Kurdistan rebels in Syria, in Erbil, executed some Mossad agents, and attack on Panjgur. So the whole world was worried that here there is a problem going on in Gaza. Houthis have started the bloody chaos. Hezbollah is getting ready, and now this. So will arc of conflict enlarge? क्या होगा? क्या पूरा मिडिल ईस्ट ऑन फायर हो जाएगा? It is said that Iran's perception is that Pakistan is aiding proxy actors which are creating problems in Iran. That's the perception of Iran. That's why it did it. But Iran did this, but Pakistan did not sit back. On 18th of January, they launched an airstrike in Sistan province, deep inside it. In that, they killed 2 men, 3 women, and 4 children. Iran claimed all were non-Iranians. They probably were from BLA and all this. Were they on a mission by ISI, or were they on? They were workers. So it was claimed. But truth will never come out what it is. But this exchange took place. Now again there was a worry. What will Iran do in return? One airstrike by Iran, missile strike. Pakistan replies with airstrike in 2 days. My friends, one thing you must note: Pakistan is a desperate country. They did Balakot despite being suicidal. They are under great pressure. They are a country which needs to be managed properly. If you have to do a surgical strike, you have to nuance it, you have to work out, you have to make your hedging strategy, because this country is trigger happy. It didn't mind annoying Iran, and it did that airstrike. And uh, the chain didn't stop there. On 27 January, there was another Fedayeen attack in Iran where 9 people were killed and 3 were wounded. But that was not tracked to Pakistan. It was just that some rebel groups did it. But Chinese intervened. They Iranian foreign minister came to Pakistan. Chinese vice foreign minister traveled to Pakistan and Iran, and it brokered some kind of peace between them. So situation is tense. Iran is doing some missile deployment, some AD exercises, and all that. But that is Iran's style. They are more mature than Pakistan. I'll say this. They are not likely to, because they're already under pressure on many fronts. So, friends, let me go to a conceptual issue. Pakistan as a nation state, we sometimes say India is a nation state or a nation or a cultural state because we don't have a common language. But will you care to examine Pakistan? They lost Bangladesh because they didn't have a common language. They also didn't have. Religion alone is not the glue. In Pakistan, Balochis speak a different language. Pashtuns speak Pashtu. So Pakistan project, in my perception, is fears of Muhajir Muslims living in central provinces and people like Jinnah who applied it on Punjabi Muslimans and cobbled up a state, putting together Punjab and Sindh, but also attaching Pashtuns and Balochistan. If you remember, Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan didn't want it. They didn't want to join Pakistan. They wanted Afghanistan didn't recognize Pakistan when Pakistan was admitted to UN. They voted against it. And Balochistan was ruled by King of Kalat, Khan of Kalat. So it is a princely state kind of thing. It
And
never
some part
wanted
was of Oman, sir. Some
Oman.
part was of Oman.
Oman. Gwadar was Oman protected. So Khan of Kalat and all these concepts. So Pakistan is coupling of this thing, and then Punjabis have tried to override over everybody. So the problems will happen unless they learn to deal with these sub-nationalisms, which are festering in Pakistan without being addressed. And every time army does a counter-terrorism operation like Radul Fasad they did under Rahil Sharif, they use disproportionate force. People disappear, like Bukti and all were killed in Balochistan. So their method of dealing with insurgency is very heavy-handed. It's not repairing, it is eliminating people. So also Pakistan over relied on Ummah factor, that Islamic Brotherhood will come to our aid and all. What brotherhood? Today, nobody is coming to Pakistan's aid. Saudi Arabia, UAE are more friendly with us. So today, Ummah factor has got nuanced in very different way. Everybody is taking national interest, and Ummah is becoming a largely ceremonial concept, uh, not something which earlier it was during Cold War time, but today it is not. Pakistan also made extremism as a way of life. That's why Hillary Clinton said what she said. And it had a rentier mindset that you extract something from America, you extract something. So, same mindset it applies to Afghanistan. Afghanistan is a landlocked country. Occasionally, they close the border. You remember when we closed the border in Bhutan, we didn't give them gas, how annoyed they became. When we tried to close the border with Nepal, what kind of problems we suffered for many years. So it's not, Afghanis are not going to excuse them so easily. And the biggest card that they played after attack on Mehran base, and few other strategic areas of Karachi and nearabouts, they decided to push out Pashtuns from their
Right.
cities who had come as refugees. And there was as many as 3.8 million people. 38 lakh people were there. Out of all foreigners in Pakistan, 95% are Pashtuns. In Karachi, the language most spoken is Sindhi and Pashto बराबर बराबर. ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं है. Actually, Karachi is the city where maximum Pashto speakers are there. More than Quetta, more than Peshawar. And there are parts of Karachi and those which are close to some of the cantonments which are dominated by, like Malir, it's a cantonment, like Chandi Mandir in Chandigarh. So next to Malir, there are large number of Pashtuns, and many attacks have been traced to TTP vectored by these people. So somewhere Pakistan had a cause to say this. So they did an exercise. They found 1.7 million people undocumented, without any documents. So they said, you go back. And about 4 lakh plus have already left. And more will have to go, 10, 12 lakhs, depending on who intervenes. But starting from November 2023, this exercise is going on. And the sad part is the people who are going back, about 60 to 70% are women and children. Imagine a refugee who came to Pakistan, their family started enjoying education, freedom for girls, and now being told, thrown back to Taliban. Go to Middle Ages. What kind of tension will get generated? Girls who had got used to Karachi culture, Karachi jaisa bhi hai, it is much more liberal than what Taliban is doing. They had a future. All that is being taken away. These are serious problems. And some of the reactions of Afghanis is because of this also. Because currently it was frozen before elections, it is going to restart. And every time such an issue takes place, Pakistan threatens Afghanistan. Now, let us look at the factor of this Afghanistan Pakistan combo, FPAC, which we say. See, we all know that Cold War, Pakistan ran that project. People like Hamid Kul and all these people, they trained all these Taliban in madrasas. Today, Taliban's top hierarchy has all studied in here. And one of the shuras is Quetta Shura, and one is Peshawar Shura. Also, there are Kandahar and Herat Shuras, but these guys went from there. And there is a Haqqani Madarsa, Fazlur Rahman's this thing creation. That and those people write Haqqani. They take Haqq. There's a huge big madarsa there. It's like a university they run over there. But terrorism is the core function they teach those people. So you'll all remember that when Taliban came to power in 1996, there was great celebration in Pakistan. That now we have, a state which is going to be our puppet, our surrogate state. So it didn't work out. In between, Hamid Karzai and all these people came. They became friendly with India, Ashraf Ghani and all. Pakistan in Doha dialogue put pressure on America and got India out. So if you remember again in August 2021, Faiz Hamid, who was ISI boss and later the corps commander of Peshawar, from where Pakistan runs all these operations, he was in Kabul and he was having those tea parties and he was installing these people. He was getting these people installed over there and he was getting Mullah brother beaten up by Sirajuddin and all these people. So all that he managed to cobble up, that whatever power arrangement is there, and he was very happy that I am the godfather, I have done all this and all this. So this is the Pakistani dream of strategic depth. See, Pakistan, if you examine, is a country which is about 1,000 kilometers in width. Only 1,000 kilometers, not very big. Pakistan is scared that India can sever it. India can, go deep. Nothing is safe. So it wants to build strategic depth. It's always done that. Like, that's why they trained Jordan. They gave a brigade to Saudi Arabia. They look for depth behind them. And Afghanistan is, to their way of thinking, very ideal for them. So they were rejoicing that now strategic depth will be there. We will tie up with China and we will do all this. And India is out. India will be out of equation. But that dream today lies in tatters, shattered. Afghanis are not going to accept them. They have decided, they are so fed up of Pakistanis because Pakistan closed their borders and all. They are now actively examining linking up to Chabahar. What India made, that Zaran's Delaram road, they want to complete it properly, take it to Chabahar port, have a railway line, and they want to have an alternate avenue of exit. And see, anything which comes to Afghanistan comes through Karachi. So there is always a, though it's tax free so called, but there is an element of pilferage, there is a element of smuggling, there is a coercion, all that is there. So Afghanistan is reworking their schemes. So, my friends, how has, this situation, how is Pakistan looking to deal with it? It is trying a lot of things. It is looking at some kind of, through Taliban trying. See, the biggest elephant in the room in ISI headquarters of Ambapara, the biggest elephant today or real dragon is TTP, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. It's a group which is sort of committed to putting the real Islamic State into power. It feels Pakistan is a revisionist kind of state. It does not follow Islam properly. There is no Sharia compliance, and everything should happen with hadiths. So they want the system to change. They also want, they are largely rooted in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So they want Pashtuns to have their own autonomy. They also have a vision that it should be a combined state of Pashtuns which should extend across the border. What arrangements can take place, that is their conception, their desire, their dream. So Pakistan is using Taliban for mediation. They've had talks. There was also one-sided ceasefire by Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan after there were very serious raids on some of their assets. That was basically to regroup and all, but it is not working. They are also trying counter-terrorism operations like Radul Fasad they had done under Rahil Sharif. They sanitized Karachi also. They took out a lot of people of this MQM of Altaf Hussain, that Muhajir Qaumi, you know,
Moment.
Ittihad movement people. They took them out of. So it occasionally does these sanitization and kind of operations, and they are also doing fencing. We have all, they are doing fencing on Durand line. They are fencing Iranian border, and they are fortifying it also to the extent. They are also expelling people who don't have cards, who are shady, and they also resort to border closures. All these measures they are trying to put, and somehow they want to convince China that we are reliable, we can give you security, please go ahead with CPEC, but that's not working out. That's difficult. Today in Pakistan, there's also a desire to start trade with India. But India will take its time. India will have to see many things. There's also a fear that with water being closed from Ravi, more reservoirs coming up on Chenab, what will have to happen to water availability? That's also $1 million question. So, how is Pakistan going to get out of it? We can only think about it. We can, we are in many ways happy that they have their problems because they're troubling us. But we are also concerned because we don't want it to go beyond a level that fire also travels to our side. Refugees and all start coming to our side. So we will not want that to happen. So to that extent, we have to remain concerned, we have to remain involved. And also they have this habit of blaming us. So they have been telling UN also that please carry out an investigation as to who's funding TTP. So that kind of thing uh, they've been doing. So how does I told you what Afghanistan looks at. But there is also a school of thought that Afghanistan is happy with this because Afghanistan always needs an enemy to survive. They had Russians as enemies, they had Americans as enemy. Now they have Pakistan as enemy. They blame Pakistan for everything. So they are also happy. They say Pakistan, they blame Pakistan, and they are trying to get something from China and all this. So uh, it's a very dangerous situation. It's a very difficult situation. Uh, but I can't sympathize with Pakistan because Pakistan has invited this on themselves. They have to, and they have allowed their military establishment to run right, do things that they want to do. So, if we look at it from geostrategic perspective and look at, we leave India out for a while, we look at the countries around it. So we find that Saudi Arabia and UAE, who should be taking a lot of interest in this problem, don't seem to be doing it. They are reticent. They are allowing these things to remain under the boiling level, but they're not going beyond that. We must remember that Raheel Sharif is still leading that multinational task force in Saudi Arabia against Houthis and Yemen. They're still doing it. So there is Nawaz Sharif is got better relations with Saudi Arabia. So I don't know what line but they will not abandon Pakistan, but they are not too much into getting into this also. That's one. The second is if you look at Iran is, I told you problems on border and all. Iran is concerned. Even Iran has problems with Afghanistan also because Hazaras and Shias are not getting their due. And Iran has got its own compulsions. But Iran looks at opportunities like Chabahar, like linking, and all those opportunities look at. And Iran is also restrained by China. China is emerging as a bigger player in this to bring sanity to these people to somehow and to tell Pakistan to pipe down. Uh, and it's bailing out Pakistan also to a certain extent. And for us to believe that CPEC will crumble may not happen, but it will not flourish to the level we are thinking. There'll be delays, there'll be cost overruns. Pakistan will become more into debt, and China will continue to colonize Pakistan the way they are doing. That will remain. Somewhere in this, uh, America, it is said, is trying to use Pakistan to create problems for Iran. There are no conclusive proofs of that, but there is, because Pakistani chief was summoned to Washington. He had gone there. That time it was said, rest we don't know. When we look at other countries around Central Asian republics and all, there is, see, Central Asian republics are five. So there is Kazakhstan, which is on north, so that is not so involved. There is Kyrgyzstan, which is towards China, which is also not so involved, from where Babar came. Uzbekistan, which is in the central Fergana Valley, uh, has got certain ambitions to influence over here. And then there is this country called as Turkmenistan, which believes being ultra neutral, even beyond Switzerland. They don't take side in anything. They just abstain from geopolitics to that extent. Only resource extraction and looking after their country. Tajikistan is a relevant player. Tajikistan could be doing some activities. How much, we don't know. India has some leverages, friendships with Tajikistan. We can use it to our advantage. India, like I told you, uh, is today more concerned with China and less with Pakistan. So India would like to not get involved here and continue its journey for economic development and progress, Atmanirbharta, and all such wonderful projects we are trying to do. So not get settled with Pakistan. We shouldn't. We have sufficient forces to take care of them. So, to my way of thinking, it'll not be easy to Pakistan to open up trade with us unless they give us conclusive proof of the thing that they have abandoned their this K2 project, Kashmir and Khalistan, and combined with drugs. So India would need to look at that, verifications of all that. So I think we have done
Yeah,
about
50 minutes, sir. 52
50
minutes.
minutes. I have a lot of time. You didn't stop me, sorry.
Yeah.
So friends,
No, it's
I
okay.
have tried to,
You're first class.
I have tried to give you a picture around these areas. So Jan Shankar, now you must please educate us, because
Oh,
I hear your
I think
podcast, and I liked some of your statement that we should neither be scared of Chinese, neither we should overestimate them, nor we should underestimate them. And some of the things which you are saying are very relevant for the fact that large number of Indian gain become despondent very easily. So we shouldn't become despondent. We have great strengths of our own. So that's a great work you have done in your other podcasts. So you must also educate us on this.
सर आई द वे आई लुक एट इट, आपने इतना अच्छा बता दिया पूरा विस्तार में. दो चीज वी आई वांट टू हाईलाइट. वन, ये पाकिस्तान का जो वेस्टर्न बॉर्डर है वो हर वक्त अभी मुश्किलात में ही होगा, इसमें कोई बदलाव नहीं होगा. और पाकिस्तान जो है इज लाइक, आई ऑलवेज डिस्क्राइब पाकिस्तान लाइक अ जेली स्टेट हियर आफ्टर. वो सॉलिडिफाई नहीं होगा, वो इधर उधर हिलता रहेगा, डुलता रहेगा, और ये कभी वो स्टेबिलिटी नहीं रहेगा पाकिस्तान के अंदर. जब तक पाकिस्तान के अंदर स्टेबिलिटी नहीं है, जहां तक हम हमारा ताल्लुकात है, आई थिंक इट्स एन अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर अस, क्योंकि ये हमारे लिए एक विंडो ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटी है टू मूव अहेड. इसके साथ साथ मेरा मानना ये है, ये मैं हर बार बताता हूँ और मैंने लिखा भी है इसके बारे में. ये अभी नहीं लिखा, 4 साल पहले मैंने अपना व्हेन आई नेवर हैड द यूट्यूब चैनल आई यूज्ड टू राइट, मैंने ये बताया है कि ये जो सीपीसी है, अगर आप जो देखेंगे, जो ये मैप 2 मिनट में बताता हूँ. अगर आप सीपीसी का लाइन है, ये दो रेड डॉट्स अगर जोड़ोगे नीचे और ऊपर, ये सीपीसी का लाइन है. ये मेरे हिसाब से ये एक थर्ड फ्रंट हो गया इनका. इनका एक वेस्टर्न फ्रंट है, ईस्टर्न फ्रंट है. वेस्टर्न फ्रंट प्रॉब्लम्स में है, ईस्टर्न फ्रंट हमारे साथ है, और ये बीचों बीच जितना भी प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है ये सीपीसी के इर्द गिर्द हो रहा है. आप देखिए, चाहे ये डैम क्यों ना हो, दासू डैम क्यों ना हो, मोहम्मद डैम में तो उनका दिक्कत नहीं है, डैमर भाषा में होने वाला है. और आप नीचे देखिए जितने ये पावर प्रोजेक्ट्स, और यहाँ ये अभी तुर्बत, और इसमें अगर हो गया, पहले मेरान में भी हो गया. तो ऑल दीज थिंग्स इज अलोंग द सीपीसी। कल के दिन जब ML1 बनना शुरू होगा तो वहां भी प्रॉब्लम हो जाएगा। सो जब पाकिस्तान हैज टू नाउ कॉन्सेंट्रेट ऑन इट्स थर्ड फ्रंट फॉर एवर।
2.5 फ्रंट हो गया, मतलब एक इंटरनल फ्रंट हो गया।
ये इंटरनल फ्रंट हो गया और ये
और
हिलेगा
वैसे भी
नहीं।
उनके पश्तून बलूची फ्रंट भी खुले हुए हैं।
वो उनका आधा और फ्रंट है,
या,
राइट। और जिस तरीके से ये लोगों को भेज रहे हैं वापस, जैसे आपने बोला 30 लाख लोगों को भेजना आसान नहीं। अगर 8 10 9 लाख भी भेज दिया तो देयर इज गोइंग टू बी अ लॉट ऑफ एंग्स्ट। एंड ये जो दुश्मनी अफगानिस्तान और पाकिस्तान के बीच में है ये बढ़ ही जाएगा, कम नहीं होगा।
कम नहीं।
और जब तक ये साइकिल, और ये एक अच्छा सुंदर बात आपने बताया, अफगानिस्तान को सरवाइव करने के लिए उसको कोई दुश्मन चाहिए। और पहले रशिया था, उसके बाद उससे पहले ब्रिटानिया वाले के लोग थे, उसके बाद रशिया और अमेरिका, ये सब चले गए तो पाकिस्तान के ऊपर टूट पड़ेंगे और कहीं जाएंगे नहीं,
आएंगे नहीं।
राइट। अगर पाकिस्तान के ऊपर टूट पड़ेंगे तो टूट कहाँ पड़ेंगे, ये सीपीसी के ऊपर। अगर सीपीसी के ऊपर टूट पड़ेंगे तो इंटरनल फ्रंट पाकिस्तान का हर वक्त एक्टिव होगा। और इसके साथ साथ जो जिनको प्रॉब्लम होगा वो है चाइनीज। इसी हमें यह भी देखना पड़ेगा कि चाइनीज के ऊपर क्या असर पड़ेगा, राइट। और जब तक ये होता रहेगा, और इसीलिए अगर आप देख रहे हैं तो चाइना ने पाकिस्तान में एम्बेसडर भेजा ताकि ही कैन कंट्रोल तालिबान। इंडिया में नहीं भेजा अभी तक। 18 महीने हो गए, इंडिया में कोई एम्बेसडर नहीं है। हालांकि इंडिया इतना बड़ा देश है, उसका पीयर कॉम्पिटिटर है XYZ, देयर इज नो एम्बेसडर, चाइनीज एम्बेसडर इन इंडिया, बट अफगानिस्तान में है क्योंकि खतरा इनको उधर से है। और जैसे आपने बोला ETIM से है, उनको प्रॉब्लम यह है ETIM अफगानिस्तान के थ्रू भी जा सकता है और ETIM इधर पाकिस्तान के जरिए भी अंदर जा सकता है। और एक बार ETM के एक्टिविटीज अगर जिंगजियांग में जाकर अगर सीड हो गए तो चाइना के लिए बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम है आगे जाके, इसमें दो राय नहीं है। तो मेरा ये सोचना है कि ये काफी दिन तक चलता रहेगा। ऑल दीज पीपल विल गेट स्टक इन दिस फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम, क्योंकि इसका कोई समाधान नहीं है। इसका समाधान इसीलिए नहीं, ये ऐतिहासिक रूप से समाधान नहीं है इसका।
नहीं है।
ये ये पिछले 4-5 सेंचुरीज में कोई समाधान नहीं है। तो इम्पोर्टेंट फैक्टर फॉर अस जो मैं मानता हूं और जिसके ऊपर इनफैक्ट आई एम गोइंग टू डू अ शो ऑन दिस, आज ही मैं बात कर रहा था किसी से, जनरल गौतम मूर्ति से बात कर रहा था कि हमें करने की जरूरत है। ये हम जो पाकिस्तान चाइना का कोल्यूसिव टू फ्रंट सिस्टम, चाहे वो टू फ्रंट वॉर हो या टू फ्रंट कोल्यूसिविटी हो, ये क्या है, इसका क्या आकार होगा, ये हमें देखने की जरूरत है। और ये इसीलिए हमें देखने की जरूरत है, जैसे आपने बोला पाकिस्तान विल ऑलवेज बी इन अ रेडी स्टेट टू इम्प्लोड, इट विल नॉट इम्प्लोड बट इट विल बी इन अ रेडी स्टेट टू इम्प्लोड एनी डे, ठीक। तो उस हालत में, और अगर आप चाइना का देखिए, चाइना का जो 2 सेशंस के बाद है जो अभी हुआ पिछले महीने, तो उसके बाद चाइना का आकार भी अलग आ रहा है। इफ यू एग्जामिन चाइना, China's whole story is changing, and this is one of the things which I'm going to do next week. How
That'll be
is
very good.
China's whole story changing? And China is now stuck in a position कि अभी देखिए, ये 2020 में ये लद्दाख में तो पहुंच गए हमारे साथ, उन्होंने डमचौक ये वगैरह में वो चल रहा है हमारा। 4 साल इनका पूरा फौज वहां बैठा रहा, उसके बाद इन्होंने हासिल क्या कुछ नहीं किया
कुछ भी नहीं।
स्ट्रेटेजिकली। ओके, अगर आप बोलोगे कि भाई यू हैव ब्रॉट इंडियन थिंग देयर एंड यू हैव हेल्ड सम एरिया ऑफ 8-9 किलोमीटर, ये थोड़ी ना है। सो लोग, मेरे ख्याल में चाइना के अंदर भी ये प्रेशर होगा कि भाई आपने क्या उकाड़ा है वहां इंडिया के साथ लड़ाई करके। और ये भी उनके दिमाग में होगा कि भाई आपने जो भी लड़ाई शड़ाई जो भी किया इंडिया के साथ कर दिया, उसके बाद इंडिया के साथ दुश्मनी मोड़ लिया। एक्चुअली उन्होंने दुश्मनी जगा दिया। इससे पहले इफ यू सी बिफोर 2020 चाइना एंड इंडिया हैड रीजनेबली गुड रिलेशंस। आफ्टर ऑल द सेम, ये जो प्राइम मिनिस्टर, हमारा प्राइम मिनिस्टर और
वो लोग 62 के बाद बॉर्न हुए, उनको तो पता ही नहीं था,
पता ही नहीं चला क्या हो रहा है।
यंगस्टर तो
या
बोलते थे सर ये चाइना तो बिल्कुल, क्या आप ऐसे ही बोल रहे हो, ये तो
हाँ, और
मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कर
यहाँ
रहा है ये।
तक और यहाँ तक सब लोगों ने देखा कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी और जी जिनपिंग वो अहमदाबाद में झूला झूल रहे थे।
बोल रहे थे।
ये तो दृश्य है,
महाबलीपुरम
पब्लिक टेली।
या
हाँ, वो महाबलीपुरम में हाथ मिला रहे थे, सांबार खा रहे थे इधर।
और
ठीक है,
वुहान
तो
में 3 जगह मिले थे।
हुआ। हाँ, वो एक जगह नहीं दोहरा। तो
हाँ,
बात ये है कि ये रिश्ता बिल्कुल अभी उलट गया है,
उलट
बिल्कुल उलट गया है। तो क्या, और after that China has gone down economically, it has gone down socially and demographically. There's no two ways about it. It
यस।
has internal problems, there's social unrest which we don't see happening in China. तो इन इस हालत में और आप बढ़ रहे हो आगे,
हम्म।
तो इस हालत में lot of things are changing and we are entering a period of great change. In the next 3 to 4 years are critical for us. How do you manage this two front situation is the bigger question which I this thing, and I'll invite you at that time to give your views. Please think about it.
चलो, वी आई लुक फॉरवर्ड टू दैट। यस।
We'll have to think out of out of our head, because I
यस।
don't also have any. This thought has come to me for the past 2 3 days, right? Ever since this attack has happened in Dasu, plus issues which have come up in China, which we have started examining, because we did this show where we said what are Chinese perceptions of India.
यस,
I
आई
did a
हर्ड
lot
दैट।
of research on this. Yeah,
यस।
I did a lot of research on that. So I see there's a shift which we have to do, but we'll take it. Okay,
यस।
I'll just take two questions. I know we are over time, but I'll just take two questions which actually you have answered, but just to put things in focus. Okay, एक पहला सवाल है, say these terrorists TTP and freedom struggle BLA as well as Afghan pressure all continue for a prolonged period. How do you see it affecting Pakistan in the long run? Will it be able to survive? Though we've answered it, I just want your
बट ऐसा है,
take.
आपने यू वुड हैव हर्ड दैट जोक, आपने वो जोक सुना होगा अजीत का, कि इसको होना, इसको लिक्विड ऑक्सीजन के टैंक में फेंक दो, तो लिक्विड इसको जीने नहीं देगी और ऑक्सीजन इसको मरने नहीं देगी। तो पाकिस्तान को, जो वो कंट्रीज है ना, जैसे अमेरिका, चाइना, ये पाकिस्तान को मरने तो नहीं देंगे, उसको किसी ना किसी तरीके से वेंटिलेटर पे चलाएंगे, बट पाकिस्तान को खुद कुछ करना पड़ेगा। वो नहीं कर पा रहा है, वो नहीं है, उसका कोई प्लॉट ही नहीं है। तो ये तो प्रॉब्लम्स बहुत सीरियस है। या तो सी, होल कंट्री हैज टू चेंज फ्रॉम extremism, from fanaticism to trade, modern education. There has to be a whole scale revision. वो नहीं हो रहा है, वो होगा भी नहीं। और आप ठीक कह रहे हैं कि वो प्रोलॉन्ग पीरियड चलेगा, लेकिन फॉर अस टू फील दैट पाकिस्तान विल ब्रेक, और वो नहीं होने देंगे। आसपास की कंट्रीज जो है, वो दे फाइंड इट कन्वीनियंट कंट्री टू हैव फॉर वेरियस रीजंस।
Right. The second question is the second answer which I would like you to give is to Pakistani who's now put out a few comments, right? And we'll take it. I'll show you those all 3 4 comments, and
या
you
प्लीज
could
प्लीज,
take it. Yeah,
वी लर्न
because
फ्रॉम
this is
दैट।
interesting. Yeah, it's an Indian. He says it's an Indian propaganda that China is exploiting people of Balochistan, right? And he says, wait, then he says, there is no reason for people of Balochistan to oppose BRI. It will benefit the people of Balochistan, right? And
देखो,
then he says, I don't understand why Pakistani army is not allowing Chinese military to establish bases in Pakistan. Okay. And he also says, I mean, I'm putting you through all this, you get a sense. Chinese also provide free healthcare to construction workers in Gwadar and wherever they run their projects. Okay. Then he all further says, uh, Chinese infrastructure projects help common people of Pakistan. They make road, hospitals, colleges, airports, seaports. So you get a sense that this gentleman feels that The Chinese infrastructure projects in Pakistan help people of Pakistan,
See,
and they're protecting
uh,
and XYZ.
see from your name, कादियानी साहब,
He's a
और
Qadiani.
आपने और अहमदी भी लगाया हुआ है, तो you must be suffering being an Ahmadiyya in Pakistan if you're using the Qadian, if you're a follower of that sect. But that apart, that I don't want to discuss. See, fact of the matter is, Baluchistan is the largest province of Pakistan.
Yeah.
Most
So
parts,
before I this thing, sorry, I'm going to. The last thing is agree. Pakistan indeed is a failed state, so is Afghanistan. In
नहीं नहीं,
India.
आप ठीक कह रहे हो, आप ठीक कह रहे हो, लेकिन आपकी जो आप कह रहे हो, सी लाइक दिस, Baluchistan is the biggest state, largest, most sparsely populated. It has got maximum resources also. Sui gas, coal, it has got copper, it has got some reserves
Gold.
of gold, all that is there. But none of that is being used for, after all, what is the level of education in Balochistan? What is the connectivity in Balochistan? Because everything has been taken to Punjab and Sindh. So, like you say, that Gwadar, see, do you know that Gwadar, when they started constructing, they started restricting people from going to the coast where they do fishing and all. So their livelihood was being taken away. They also started encroaching on the sparse water supply which is there. There's a dam nearby, so Chinese started taking share of that water. The power that they are generating, see, Imran Khan had said that no power project will come up which will be coal based. But China has forced concession on Pakistan, and they are making this. For so many years, they were drawing power from Iran. Now they have forced this, and they are going to get the coal always from China. It will be imported always from there at a heavy cost. So, and see, in CPEC, who has got all the contracts? Largely, it is Chinese companies. So it is round tripping of the money. You are spending 100 rupees, you are giving 80 to Chinese companies. They are getting equipment from China. So all that money is going back into the Chinese system. And 15 to 20 that you are giving to Pakistan, you are giving it to Frontier Works Organization, FWO, or SCO, Special Communication Organization, or you are giving to it to Fauji Foundation and Baharia, Shaheen, and all those foundations. So contracts, that's why General Asim Bajwa is facing inquiries. He was head of CPEC. So everybody is made money in this process. Everybody is lining up their pockets. A lot of Pakistani generals like Parvez Musharraf lived in Dubai and he had houses in London and USA. Parvez Kayani lives in Australia. We don't have Indian generals with such assets. Nobody. So, uh, and there is no real capability building taking place for people of Balochistan or even Pakistan. So there is resentment. They say, what is there in this for us? What are we going to gain out of it? I subscribe to this viewpoint that if CPAC is allowed to come up, it will have collateral benefits. You can't rule it out. But China will have to reach out to prove to those people. If I was Chinese, I would have made sure, like, see, I'll tell you, I was a corps commander in Sikkim. I set up a solar power project in collaboration with Sikkim government. They gave me money, shani, everything. So my MOU I had written on my own. I'm sorry to keep saying I, but I want to
Yeah,
prove
that's
that
okay.
point. That every house in Nathang village, I will give 2 light connections free of charge from that solar energy. Lot of army fellows ask me, सर ये क्या कर रहे हो? इतनी कम पार तो है, आप तो इसका दे रहे हो 40% दे रहे हो उनको विलेज को. I said, you want it long term or short term? You don't give it, they'll come and sabotage it. You give it, then you are building a stake. I believe now they are setting up another power plant because that village has got stake in it. तो चाइनीज को करना था यार, किसने रोका था? दे आर सच ए बिग कंट्री, दे शुड हैव वन ओवर द लोकल पॉपुलेशन, इन्वॉल्व देम. That they haven't done. Sorry, I must tell you this. So, to that extent, uh, you are right that Pakistan is a failed state. You are also right that Afghanistan is a failed state. But like Jal Shankar says, they'll be kept on the ventilator. They'll not be allowed to completely fail because the world feels they are relevant. And we also, as a neighbor, are not very interested in their failing completely. They
Completely.
can
Yeah.
remain the way they are.
Yeah, yeah. I think so, sir. I think it's been a very interesting talk. I just want to say Shrees has joined us as a member. Welcome. And Kaushindal Tripathi has also become a member. Welcome to him also. And I thank these two new members, and I'd request more to join in. I also request more people to subscribe to Gunner Shot. Because we are now in interesting times and we are going to take interesting topics, and we have a lot of people who have good ideas about how India should progress, and that is what I'm trying to democratize and bring it to people. Because unless the people of India know how India needs to progress and the problems it has to face to progress, we will not progress well. So this is my last testing. Sir, your final comment and then we'll say Jai Hind.
No, I have nothing. You have covered it beautifully. Thank you, Jan Shankar. Uh, Only thing I want to say is that keep our focus on China, which is our main adversary.
Main, yeah.
Beware of problems of Pakistan. See that they don't spill over into our courtyard. And also be mindful of collusivity which can develop.
Yeah.
That is a serious threat to us. We have to remain mindful of that because Gwadar overlooks our energy line.
Yes.
We are developing hedging strategies, but Gwadar overlooks our energy corridor also. So, to that extent, we have to remain mindful of it and join this wonderful channel, become members, get others to join it. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot for everyone who's listened on. Good evening and Jai Hind till tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll get someone from Canada, Tahir Gora, to talk about India, which Pakistan needs to understand. Because you know what, how Pakistan needs to see and understand India is best told by someone who's been born and brought up and lived the best part of his life in Pakistan. And that's what we'll do. Kal sham ko 8 baje. Thank you. Good evening and Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Jai Hind, Jan Shankar. I have to run across somewhere. Thank you.
Oh, please, sir. Thanks a lot,
Jai
sir.
Hind. I'll call you up in